I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. What about another review? This is another PayPal request, this time from Alan. Thank you so much for that. If anyone wants to request any type of reviews, topics, re-reviews, reactions, or pretty much any type of video, you just send a request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, I've heard of this film for a while, The House That Jack Built, by Lars von Trier. Very controversial filmmaker. If you don't know what this film is, it stars Matt Dillon, who I enjoy as an actor. I did not know that the film is 2.5 hours long. It did not need to be 2.5 hours long. That's one of the, I could say, issues I have with the film. But it was very controversial. It's a very polarizing movie. People either like it or they hate it. And the story is this 12-year period where Matt Dillon, he's talking with this figure who we don't quite know who it is yet. And as he's talking to this guy, he tells about 5 random chosen incidents of his kills. And the movie gets very pretentious as it goes on. Diatribes of God and religion and architecture. With that said, I actually did like the film overall, and here's why. Number one, I thought Matt Dillon did a really good job. I like Matt Dillon as an actor. Nowadays, if he gets a movie role, it's usually kind of a small supporting role, whether it be Takers, whether it be that film Crash, which I didn't mind that film. There's not a lot of starring roles that he gets, and if he does, it's nothing where he really gets to cut his teeth into compared to this. I mean, this one is just a really solid performance by Matt Dillon. It definitely kept my interest because of him, and to see him act in this type of character as Jack. So the other thing, it's a well-directed film, as in it's a good-looking movie. There's very interesting choices that the director made. Because really the movie plays off as a fairly just a dark comedy a lot of the time. That's the thing. Like this has been compared to like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. But this one seems more comedic than that. Now, there's still horrific stuff that happens, but I guess I wasn't as disgusted as other people were because this is not Martyrs. This is not The Human Centipede. This is not a Serbian film. This is not Gutterballs. Number one, I think this film is way better than all those films I mentioned. Well, aside from him reporting a serial killer, I think that's better than this. But at the same time, they're both about serial killers, and they both have graphic stuff. But the tones are very different between the two. Um, Again, this has more of a dark comedic take on it. And based on what I've heard of the controversy, I was expecting a movie like a Serbian film. What's that? A film that literally had baby rape in it to make newborn porn. Martyrs. 90% of the film is a girl being tortured to see what the other side's like, which is fucking stupid. Human Centipede. Let's sew a mouth to an asshole. Let's do that repeatedly. The movie. Gutter Balls. It's a slasher film, but let's have a scene where we kill a guy. I think the guy was gay or something, because I guess to punish his gayness, the killer took his pants down, took his dick, and cut it in half and opened it up like it was a fucking flower or something. Because we needed that in a slasher movie. We needed a guy's dick being open like this, and open like a hot dog. Well, some people open their hot dog like a hot dog bun. I'll say like a hot dog bun. And I know it's a great image. Didn't know that was coming when I first saw that piece of shit. Now you don't need to see it. This film does not have that in it. So, I don't think this film warrants that kind of controversy. Okay, there's two moments. One, dealing with an animal, but it was practical effect. It wasn't a real animal getting hurt. It was Jack as a little boy. He's got a duckling. He clips the not duckling, but a little like chicken, little chicken, little duck. I forget. It's a little cute animal. There's a leg. He snips a bit of it off, lets it go around in the pool, seeming okay, but going in a circle. It looks convincing, but even PETA and others have said, no, that is a practical effect. And considering some of the stuff I've seen, I mean, I saw Inferno with Dario Argento where people are picking up cats and the cats are screaming, That was more intense to me than this scene, because the duck didn't know, or the duck chicken, whatever. When it snipped, it didn't do anything because it wasn't really his leg. It was just a special effect. And the duck didn't really... I keep saying fucking duck. Whatever the fuck the little thing was, I can't remember now. I think it was a baby chick. Whatever the fuck it was. No, baby chick, it was in the water though, so maybe it was... Whatever the fuck it was, it just snipped the leg and it's like... Whatever. It wasn't as bad. Shows the shit I've seen, like Cannibal Holocaust, where it's real animals. Also, the kids get killed, but it doesn't show it. He has a sniper rifle on them. When he shoots them, it cuts away. So again, that was actually handled fairly respectably, considering all the controversy I've heard on it. And speaking of the direction, some of the choices, like from time to time, the director uses that song Fame, which I actually like that song, that Fame, da, 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 da. Like the times he uses it are interesting choices. There are times where, for example, Matt Dillon's talking to this guy and he's trying to make the comparison between pain and pleasure, at how he can feel a certain pleasure, but when it starts to dissipate, the pain starts overwhelming it. And it's like this interesting art style to showcase that, and how the street lights showcase like his wanting to kill. Or there'll be times where Matt Dillon has these cards, and he's either describing his OCD. Each time he throws a card away, it's another word to describe it, or describing a psychopath, and each of the cards describes all the adjectives, not adjectives, adjectives is not the word, all the things that describe a psychopath. It just throws each one and reveals a new word. Now, if this sounds pretentious, it fucking is. That's one of there are a lot of times that this film feels like its head is up its own fucking ass. Now, it seems like that's maybe part of the reason, like, it's on purpose. And for a while, I was fine with that. But at 2.5 hours, it gets a bit much. Now, the real quick I tell these 5 incidents. One, he pits, spoiler alert, obviously. But overall, I will say, I do like the film because I like Matt Dillon's performance. It was interesting to see where it would go. And it's definitely like, okay, here's cutaway to a montage of art, engineering and building the house. Or just how darkly comedic it is. Like how he bought this freezer because someone had these pizzas. And Matt Dillon says, you know, I only ate one of those shitty pizzas. I threw the rest out. And this is where he keeps his bodies. And then, if you don't know anything about this, like seriously, if you know nothing about this, you will not guess where the fuck this movie goes. And it's pretty fucking out there. Again, I enjoyed the experience of watching it on the fact of, to repeat myself once again, Matt Dillon's performance. Again, just what the director, he made his own film, and certain decisions he made is like interesting, and it's not a typical serial killer movie, I'll tell you that. And but they get more into spoilers. Like one, he picks up this girl, and it's Uma Thurman. I'm like, is that who that girl looks familiar? Holy shit, it's Uma Thurman. And in this incident, like, she just is annoying as shit, the character. Oh, could you pick me up? Please pick me. Okay. Wow, you might as well be a serial killer. Sorry, you look like a serial killer. He drops her off. He's ready to leave. Wait, can you stay here? Give me a lift back? Lady, I don't have all day. No, just, it's like he's giving her so many options to get the fuck away. He even goes, man, I'm getting distracted by your goddamn blabbering. Then takes her back to her car. The jack doesn't work. Please, can you take me back again? Like, all these choices, like, all these ways that she could escape. She talks herself to death. That's what she does. Just one of the final things she says, it's, you're not a serial killer. You're way too much of a wimp to murder anyone. So he smacks her in the face, caves her face in. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, this sort of comedic aspect of, well, I can't really blame Matt Dillon for doing that. No, of course, in reality, you don't want to murder someone. But I'm just saying, like, that was interesting. Like, that was the first one they show. It just set up the tone of this. And in between each incident, it'd be these conversations he's having with this individual, which I'll get to him later, about he wants to be an engineer and he dreams of building a house, and just the way he's edited. Like at one point, how it edits between a tiger and a lamb, and there's no animal violence of real nature, which I appreciate. That's why I'm like, okay, this film's so controversial. I've seen movies where they actually have real animals killing each other. This didn't do that. So that, again, there's certain moments I appreciate them not doing that. Oh, at the Cannes Film Festival, people walked out. I could show you 30 movies off the top of my head that are way worse than this movie. I've mentioned some of them. Just saying. But like you have the second incident where he pretends to be a cop and he tries to con his way into this lady. I recognize the lady. I don't know her name, but you remember the first Men in Black? Remember the lady who was the wife of Vincent D'Onofrio's character before he got overtaken by the alien? And then Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, they interview her, and she tells about, sugar. It just wanted sugar. She's the person here, and she does a smart thing. No, I'm not letting you in. Where's your badge? And Matt Dillon does a good job being a con artist, where he's just talking and talking and talking. Oh, you know what? I'm lying. I'm with insurance, and brings up this idea of a way to double her pension, and like the way he cons his way into his house, I thought was actually rather pretty damn good on his part to do that. And this one talk about the weirdly comedic aspect that I did not expect from this film. I think that actually helps tolerate the violence. That eases it up a bit. Again, that's why I don't really understand the harsh. I'm like, again, go watch a Serbian film. Go watch Martyrs. Go watch that shit. I mean, there's violence in it, but I've seen more gross stuff in Jason Goes to Hell, the unrated version, than this. But that's just me. But I was mentioning the comedy in this, or dark humor. He chokes her, it doesn't work, and then he apologizes. Oh man, I'm so sorry. How can I make this right? And like feeds her and breaks up these donuts and feeds it to her. And then he chokes her again, but it works this time. And then when he escapes, the killer has OCD, so he keeps coming back, and he keeps imagining maybe there's a spot of blood there, maybe there's a spot of blood there, which is ridiculous. There's no way the blood would be there, the way he imagines it. But that's why, like, the direction of this at times is rather interesting, because it's like he's sitting in the van, and then he imagines, like, lifting up something, and there's, like, a big pile of blood. And no way it would be there, but, yeah, that plays to his OCD. So you literally have to go in and check each spot to make sure, and to check each spot, this double, triple, quadruple check to see if there's no blood in there. To the point he almost gets caught. And even the voice goes, oh man, you must have been caught and you must have have the cops after you. And Matt Dillon goes, no, I didn't. Guess I just got lucky. Or because he dealt with really stupid people. But I mean, the movie's clearly telling us that these cops are really fucking stupid. And even goes into how at times he wants to get caught. That's why he takes the body and he drags it to that song, Fame. He's dragging the body behind him, like in a bag, and there's this trail of blood. And when he gets there, he steps out, he looks up, and it starts raining. And kind of that irony that, the rain washes the evidence away. Again, I can't stress how much this film is more committed than you think. So don't get so uptight with the controversy. Now, I can understand people not liking it because it's too long, because 2.5 hours is way too fucking long. And pretentious, yeah, there are times where it just goes so fucking up its own ass about religion and God and motivations of a killer and the art artistic measures of what Matt Dillon wants to do that you're like, come on, man. I could see you taking half an hour out of this film easily. Come on now, man. It's like if Terrence Malick did a serial killer movie. And there's some Terrence Malick films I like, The Thin Red Line, but there are times where he feels like he's up his own ass too. It's just like Lars von Trier. But I will say it was at least an interesting watch. This is where, like, between the second and the third incident, you get signs of how he's a psychopath, how he's trying to fake empathy. There's moments where he's actually trying to mimic photos, but he can't quite do it because it's just not quite there. Flashbacks to him as a kid, snipping this baby animal's leg and letting it swim. And swimming, not too bad. But again, it is a practical effect, people. It looks, ooh, shit. But again, it's a practical effect. Even PETA and others, they've confirmed that. So, but I mean, that's his job. It's like, oh shit. I appreciate that more than, I mean, people forget, in the original Friday the 13th, when they kill that snake, it's a real snake they killed. So which is really worse? Killing a real snake in Friday the 13th, or snipping the, not even killing, I thought, oh my god, it's going to tear the animal's head off, or cut its head off. Okay, it does this little snip on the leg, which is horrible in real life, of course, but it's a practical effect. A well done one, which, if we can make a fucking movie where heads get cut off and it looks real, they could do that with this. That's probably why the animal didn't seem that upset, because it really, nothing happened to it. Thankfully. So, there you go. And, you know, showcasing how he's even getting more and more reckless. There's even a point where there's this wide shot of like this hotel apartment building. I forget what it was. It shows 2 floors from the side, downstairs, upstairs. It shows how he takes the body up, goes upstairs, takes it, goes back downstairs, and he's doing this because now he's interested in creating art and photographs with the bodies. But it's done like, at times he's running like he's in a Benny Hill thing, like speeding up the camera, and it's just a very weird experience watching the movie, I'll say that. Unique, outside the norm. The third incident, he's with this girl and the 2 kids. He's teaching them how to hunt. And then there's old footage of hunters having, you know, ducks, you know, birds and stuff having already been killed. But he shoots the kids. Again, not as graphic as I thought, which I'm fine with. He shoots the kid, it cuts away. He shoots the kid, cuts away. Now, the idea is fucked up, because he has the woman make her do a picnic with the dead bodies of the 2 kids. But yeah, it's not as graphic as, you know, some people make it out to be. The 4th incident, this one could have been completely cut out. This one is just, he had a girlfriend who he called simple because he thought she was so dumb. He admits to her that he's killed by this point 60 people. She goes to a cop. He makes it seem as if, you know, they're just a drunk couple. Brings her back. You realize he's cut off her tit. You don't really see it, thankfully, from what I remember. But you do see him put a piece of it on the fucking hood of the car, the cop car. It's not something you see every day. And then you get up to the fifth incident where he wants to kill this group of people with one bullet. It's the wrong bullet. So he goes, and actually it's Jeremy Davies, who was in Saving Private Ryan, among others. And he was also in, what's that movie? Ravenous, who gives him the actual bullet. One thing leads to another. He's trying to fire it. He finally gets to this room that throughout the entire film he could never open. And then he finds another room, and there's a guy sitting back there. And that's the guy who he's been talking to narration-wise in between these incidents. And then the guy mentions, well, wait a minute, what about this thing you always said you want to do? I've always been watching you ever since you started doing this. What about that house you always wanted to build? So he finally builds a house out of all the bodies he saved in there. So he makes a house full, made of people. Then the guy invites him as the cops are coming in to save the people, because he hasn't killed those other people yet that he was going to shoot with one bullet. Cops come in to save them. Matt Dillon escapes into actual hell. The guy brings him into actual hell. I didn't see that coming. And then, if you think it hasn't been artsy-fartsy enough, it shows his journey through hell, where it goes to like a different film format. Like for a few minutes it seems like a found footage movie, not from a POV, but like, imagine there's a third person with a camera and you see Matt Dillon, this other guy, traversing these narrow tunnels. But it's a different like frame, like the frame's different. Almost looked like it was full screen compared to the rest of the movie. And there are times where at one point going through hell, they're in these bubbles cascading down, or they're in this like almost painting of the rivers or Styx. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie, man? What the fuck? And then gets to this bridge, and the guy says, well, you were telling me the story all this time. It got me interested in it. I figured, I'm going to show you this. Now it's time to go back. And Matt Dillon goes, well, wait a minute, what's that over there? Well, if you get over there, you climb back up to, I'm guessing, heaven. But, no one's ever made it because the bridge is out. And Matt Dillon's like, well, what if I climb on the walls? You can try, but no one's ever succeeded. So I don't know if the movie was trying to tell us because of his OCD, because of his reckless wanting to chance it, or whatever the hell else his intention. He tries to climb, he falls to the abyss of hell, and literally the next moment, as he's fallen into the chasm of hell, Dennis just deserts for his crimes. The credits roll, and the song that plays is literally, I shit you not, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. When I heard that, I went, are you fucking... I mean, Jack is in the title. Hit the road, Jack. I mean, what the fuck is this movie? But I can see why this movie is polarizing. It is pretentious as fuck. It's way too long at 2.5 hours. But I gotta admit, I'm glad to have seen it because it was definitely an interesting experience. Matt Dillon did a really good job. There's some weird comic, dark comedic moments that took me off guard and made me chuckle a bit. I do think it's a good looking film. It's interesting with the way it's directed and edited at times. The little like interstitials between the incidents. The song choices like Fame and I think it was the David Bowie did that, and the song at the end, and it's definitely one of the more unique serial killer films I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? I actually appreciate that. I do appreciate that. So I don't know if I could say you like the film, but I think it's definitely worth at least one watch. Whether you like or hate the film, I really do think it's worth a watch. I really do. I mean, you may hate it and be like, this is fucking pretentious bullshit, and you'd be right. Or you could be like me, I'm like, this is, yeah, it's that, but it's pretty interesting as well, so. I don't know what else to say. The house that Jack built. It's an experience, I'll tell you that. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.